I'm good.
Good.
Okay, I'm
Oh,
turning
there
on
she is.
video.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
I
Good to
was
see you.
putting in headphones and texting Shamina back. We're
Oh
having
my
like
gosh.
a girls' day fiasco
Oh,
thing.
that's nice.
Um,
She's awesome
uh,
too.
I love her.
Yeah.
She and I like she's one of my best friends.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, that's actually why she's in the group. She didn't even do the challenge. I just called her up and
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
I'm gonna do this thing. I think you should do it. She's like, you're one of my most expensive friends. I always do all this expensive stuff with you. I was
Yeah. Oh
like,
my gosh. Yes.
I was
That's
like, it's
crazy.
worth it. Come
Yeah.
on.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh my
She's
God.
very inspiring.
I know. She's amazing. And anyway, I gotta show her the stuff. I can't show you
Hmm.
her stuff before, but
Hmm.
some of the stuff we're talking, we both have some really big things going on. And I was like, I just made you something and I'm about to show her. So she's like texting me. She's like, I'm done with my calls. I was like, I'm talking to Dan. um, okay. I
Well, I
am
appreciate
like,
you thinking of me.
no, I so appreciate you getting on a call. I don't know what time it is where you are, but it's late where I am.
6:45. Yeah. It's not bad.
Okay. Yeah. It's like 8:45, 9:45. I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't even know what time it is. I am in such a like
I can tell
download
you're
state.
wound up. Yeah.
I am like I'm over the moon and literally only my husband and Shamina know about this. So
Wow.
this is also
Privilege.
why Shamina is freaking out because she's like, dude, she's like, this is your podcast, this is your stuff. And I'm sorry, I'm like all up in the camera.
Oh,
Um,
that's fine.
but I have you on my phone so I can
Oh.
show you.
Mhm.
Um,
And then please be very clear about what kind of feedback you want. Like if you want me to give
oh,
general or
okay.
specific editing, I don't know what
Okay,
you're tell
so
me.
let me just show you.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't know even know why I sat down. Probably
I
just
would say
tried
I
to
see
calm.
lots of planning behind you on the
I
wall. I don't
probably
know if
wanted
that's
to like try to calm myself down
yeah,
because
take some
I am like,
breaths. There you
Dan, do
go.
you know what it's like? Like when you published your book,
Hmm.
or when you like
That was a high for sure.
held your first baby. Like it's
Hmm.
this level
Wow.
of content creation.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, so this is not going to make a lot of sense for you. I'm probably going to rip it off and draw it out for you, but I
Okay.
realized in drawing this out the first time, how do I flip this around? Okay. When I drew this out the first time,
Hmm.
that I literally, this is 22 years, oh, that's the wrong one,
Wow.
22 years of my coaching experience.
Hmm.
And I drew this out and explained it in less than 2 minutes.
Wow.
But I was
You're,
talking to Shamina and she
yeah,
knows
you're going
me
to
and
have to
she gets
walk me
me.
through it. Yeah, you're going to have to walk me through it. By the way, though, I will tell you that I really enjoyed your book. So nice work on that.
Oh, you read it?
Oh, well, yeah. And I left a review.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to have to
Yeah.
check.
Hmm.
I had my first post go viral, which thank you for the balloons.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I saw. That's awesome.
I've never had anything like that happen. I was a little bit shitting my pants, not going to
Sure.
lie. Like
Yeah.
it started happening. I was like, there's like 500 shares. That was a huge deal to me.
500 shares. Is this on Facebook?
It's up to 11.5 thousand shares, Dan.
Wow.
I'm like,
yeah, I have
it's
to go back and look at that.
it's not even anything. It's 10 words. And I didn't even make the words up. I kind of thought I did, but I was like, I probably heard that in a campaign trail.
Mm-hmm.
But everything political going on, I'm like, I don't
Well, I
want
was
to
going to
get
say your timing
political.
was right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't want to get political, but I want to be human and I want to
When
talk.
content meets timing.
Dude, so that's all it takes for any of us.
Yeah.
Like one episode, like one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Okay. So
It is
that's
so
all
fun
happening.
to see like this.
I am like, I swear to God, I'm not drunk. I'm not high.
No,
I don't do drugs. I don't do anything.
No,
I am
I
like,
didn't even cross my mind.
I'm high on life right
Of
now.
course
And I am literally freaking out. So I'm going to turn.
Okay. Yeah.
And I realize my lights might make a weird shadow. So you tell me if you can't see. I'm going to turn my camera around.
Yeah.
And I would love. Can you see?
I see the easel.
My Post-it note?
The giant one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I have this
Oh, you're
really
going to
cool
draw it for
hook.
me again. Okay.
It's a coat hook on the back of
Oh,
the door. I'm going to draw it
nice.
from you. I'm going to take you through.
Should
Because
I be taking notes?
no, because
Yeah.
I am recording this.
Oh,
I
you
just
are.
double checked.
Okay.
So I just turned record on because I actually don't want to overthink this. I just
Yes.
want gut reaction.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know what that means. If you want to take notes, you can, but like, I don't need you to take notes.
Okay, but I don't want to interrupt your train of thought as you're drawing.
You're so sweet. I'm pretty sure you couldn't disrupt this because this is literally everything I've lived for 40 years. And it's been my career for 22 years. And I finally made sense of it. And
Awesome.
I love the opportunity to run it past you because you have barely known me. And I want to make sure it makes sense to somebody new in my world.
Totally makes sense.
So that's incredibly valuable to me. So I don't want you to cookie cutter. Like, I know you're going to high five me for how amazing I feel about what I've come up with, but I don't need you to high five me on like, yes, that's perfect.
No, I will be totally honest with you, and I will tell you the areas that are unclear or that may not work. Or no, believe me, as an actor and a writer and a teacher, honest feedback is the only thing you can do. Otherwise, it's not helpful.
Correct. So my feelings and my ego have been checked right behind this office door. And
that's good.
And I am going to go through, actually, hold on. Sorry. You're looking at the table. I didn't
that's fine.
I didn't meet you. I'm like, I think it would be helpful for me to actually have, even though I wasn't even using complete sentences, my other thing near me. So that way I don't do any loss of stuff. But sorry, the phone is weird. Okay. So I'm going to draw 6 circles.
Okay.
And they're going to overlap. And the whole goal of what I'm drawing is to help people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I think I did a pretty good job there. The whole goal is to help people achieve
the 7th circle.
Well, I guess this is going to be my way of explaining the energetic intelligence blueprint.
Nice. Great name.
Okay.
And of course, I know I just met you, but I remember you talking about coming up with that name and I think trademarking it, right? Or getting a domain or something?
I've trademarked it. I've already actually submitted. I've already sent my lawyers. Like, I made this map of how I think I'm going to teach this. What do I need to do to copyright it? Because it's this good. And Shamina, who's an ex-lawyer, was like, did you trademark this yet? Like, she was driving and she's like trying to look at it. And she's like, you better copyright, do this stuff. Like, she's like, this is fucking mind blowing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything that anybody else said anymore. Cause I don't want to bias your opinion, but
I totally get that. Yep.
Okay. So there's basically 6 key levels that humans operate. This is like the human operating cheat sheet.
Okay. Got it.
So we're going to start with circle number 1, spiritual. Circle number 2, physiological. Circle number 3, psychological. Circle number 4, emotional. Circle number 5, behavioral. Circle number 6, relational. So when I back up from my beautiful little drawing here, what I've identified is that these are key areas.
Mhm.
And side note, I'm open to teacher suggestions as well. Like I'm
Oh,
talking to you quickly, and I know you only have like a few more minutes, right?
yeah, I mean, it's my daughter was tutoring and dinner was done, but she's going to be done 5 or 10 minutes, but it can wait. I mean,
Okay, I'm not
we
talking
knew
like a
we
half hour. I
yeah,
just
yeah. No, that's
okay.
fine. No,
So I'm
give me
kind of
the
going.
lowdown.
I'm also open to teacher suggestions, and
Hmm.
this might be something maybe I just like run you through it right now, and maybe we
Hmm.
could have another conversation when it works. It's really hard for me to make like plans right now with my
Hmm.
schedule, but
No, I understand.
um as far as teaching it,
Hmm.
I'd be very open to like, you want a story here, or you want this there, or you want like that
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
make sense, or like connect the
Hmm.
dots type stuff, which I don't know that we can get out in 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm sorry if I'm asking for too much, but I'm
No.
just very, you offered, and I'm very clear on my
Yes,
ask, and I'm a good receiver. So
all of
we
those
have
things are
these
true.
6 different ingredients that create an energetically intelligent person. And when they master all 6 of these ingredients, they can customize their blueprint to identify where are they self-sabotaging, where are they winning, where are they needing support, where are they able to give support.
Hmm.
Sorry, it's weird that something about this, the way I'm holding my phone, when I turn it one way, it does the opposite thing I want. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So when we, there's basically, I guess I'm going to try saying it to you a different way because I'm open to feedback. So
Hmm.
there's 2 keys that I teach in each of these areas
Hmm.
that help someone become a master of that particular area.
Okay.
So in spiritual, and I also have been calling that soulful because I didn't want to sound religious. So maybe
Right.
soulful is a better word. But I
Hmm.
like spiritual, physiological. I like the alliteration of
Hmm.
spiritual, but I think soulful might be a better word. But
Hmm.
basically, in this circle, the 2 key things to do to master this area is to understand how you process energy and to develop your intuition.
Hmm. Amen on that.
Okay. So once you understand those 2 things and they're no longer mysteries to you,
Hmm.
the next level of energetic intelligence to build on is the physiological piece.
Hmm.
And this is where we activate your biohacks and cultivate your neural
Hmm.
pathways, but biohacks and neural paths sounds catchier to me
Hmm.
personally. I'm realizing, is this all backwards to you, or is this helpful
Nope.
for you to see what I'm writing?
I can't see what you just wrote on physiological, but I wrote it down from what you said, so I can tell.
Okay.
If I
Okay.
can't figure something out, I will tell
Cool.
you.
Okay, cool. So, and then once you connect these 2, the spiritual and the physiological,
Hmm.
this is where we have the biggest takeaway here is an increase of self-trust.
Okay, where are you writing that? In between. Okay, in
So
between. Got it. Okay.
the overlap, the little
Hmm.
overlap thing.
Yep.
Okay. So now we have spiritual processes energy, develops intuition,
Hmm.
physiological activates your biohacks, cultivates your neural pathways. We have increased your self-trust. We can now move up the ladder, so to speak, of energetic intelligence into psychological,
Hmm.
which these 2 things would basically be to elevate awareness.
Hmm.
That's basically identifying your subconscious versus your conscious.
Hmm.
And the second key there is to process information.
Hmm.
And this is IQ or intellect.
Hmm.
And once we bridge that gap between the physiological and the psychological, this is where we see an increase. So the biggest reward here is an increase in purpose.
Oh.
So that goes in the little circle thing.
Right.
Okay. So moving right along, pretending you have no questions, because I trust you to interrupt me if you do.
I will.
We get to the emotional process of our energetic intelligence. And this, there's the two keys here are identifying if we're responding or resisting. So respond versus resist. Or, so that's one. And then the second is contract versus expand. And once we bridge this gap between psychological and emotional, this is where we see an increase in confidence.
Ooh.
Do you like how sexy my everyday language is?
I do.
I am literally breaking down quantum physics in such a huge way. And I know this is like an overwhelming amount of information, but it's...
Well, no, I mean, the beauty part is that I'm totally following this. And I haven't interrupted because I thought I want to get the whole picture.
Okay, I'll keep going.
Go back. Yeah. But no, it's I'm not lost at all.
I love that.
It's a very logical progression. And,
Okay.
and, you know, I'll tell you, to show you how logical it is and how much sense it's making, I was doing a little experiment because I'm not a spatial guy. And you're doing what in my 9th grade class we call a bubble cluster or a Venn diagram. I'm doing it as a Roman numeral outline, and it's still working fine.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Because actually, and
I'm
this
linear
is the key
sequential.
part. This is a key part of your feedback is like how I copyright it. Does it do the circles or is it the words? And I know you're not a lawyer, but like,
no,
this is the way I see it.
Right.
And this is the kind of feedback that's hugely helpful to me. So
do you generally consider yourself a spatial person when you're designing like that? I mean, clearly.
Yes.
Yeah. And
I do.
I'm linear sequential. So I like lists and like up and down, right? If it goes left to right, I'm like, what? But this is totally making sense. You know.
I love that. Yeah. So I am not an up or down person, but I also actually have multiple different versions of my PDFs to honor different learning types in my programs.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I have to have other people make them because I'm like, I don't know how to make them that way.
Exactly.
So that's hilarious.
Exactly. So, okay. So
emotional has respond versus resist or contract versus expand.
Right.
And now we bridge the gap of confidence. We move into the behavioral level. Yep. So behavioral, I have as making empowered decisions. And taking aligned action. Or actions. So those are the tangible, and most people, this is the bubble they live in. And they're not even aware of all of these other bubbles.
Yep. I totally get that.
Okay. So I think this is where a lot of my clients are going to have pain points that I'm like, I'm going to talk about. Probably if I was teaching, I would have more concrete, tangible examples. But honestly, in my own existence and the way I've worked with this stuff for so many years, I'm like, I have tangible examples for every single piece of this so far. I have probably stories I could tell for every single one if it was a long drawn out training. But once we bridge the gap between emotional and behavioral, this is where we actually increase our wealth. And wealth, I'm choosing instead of money.
Right, because there's all kinds of wealth.
Because that is a subjective thing. Do you want more time? Do you want more connection? Do you want more energy? Do you want more freedom? Do you want geographical independence? Do you what is wealth to you?
Exactly.
It is between connecting, bridging between your emotional intelligence and your behavioral intelligence. And you can't do that without energetic intelligence. All of this, you have to have energetic intelligence to be able to
Mhm.
bridge the gaps. Because I can tell you there are coaches that teach every single bubble and every single little bubble on
Mhm.
their own, but on their own, it's why a lot of their clients get results, but not everyone does.
Got
And
it.
so if you're
Right.
someone that's worked with someone on self-trust or any of the other things I've mentioned before,
Mhm.
and not gotten results, it might be because that's where you're feeling the pain because that bridge isn't gapped,
Mhm.
but it's not the actual bubble that's popped in your life.
Nicely put. Yeah, I totally get that.
Okay. So, because I'm a little bit thinking of maybe using a balloon analogy with this, of like
Mhm.
each of these are bubbles that
Mhm.
the most deflated balloon in your
Mhm.
thing, which is why, honestly, I think my brain was just like, Dan just sent you balloons and you did a balloon
Oh,
analogy. Call him.
look at that. Look at that. Yeah.
Okay. So
Not an accident.
once we bridge the gap, or so now we have behavioral. The last piece of this is relational,
Yep.
and that is intentional boundaries. And effective communication.
Okay. I had to look to
And
see if you were doing EFF or AFF because they're very different.
that is a great, I'm going to put like A/F question
Yeah.
mark.
Because
I
it could have been
personally,
both.
yeah, I
You know.
actually, I have my Kaizen communication, which is
Mhm.
probably how I'll teach it,
Mhm.
where you need Kaizen communication. But I think I don't want to lead with that because then I
Right.
feel an obligation if I mention it to kind of teach it. And that's a whole different training.
Exactly.
But I actually have an entire signature communication process.
Wow.
So
So now we're
when
going to
we
bridge.
the
Yeah, the
gap
behavioral
between behavioral and
and relational.
relational,
We
that is
increase
where we increase. Oh, wait. Emotional and behavioral is.
wealth.
Wait, hold on. What did I do? I did something wrong here.
Oh,
I think I might have done something wrong. Hold on.
okay. I'm going to be quiet so
Self
you can figure it out.
trust, increase purpose, increase confidence, increase wealth. Oh, increase impact. So
There it is.
between behaviors and relations, I didn't do anything wrong.
Well, that's exactly it, isn't it? I mean, if you behave a certain way with other people, you're making an impact,
Mm-hmm. And how we have relationships
positive or
with them,
negative.
that impact, yeah, it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
So all of this is in psychology, they talk about a lot of things between like mindset and, for example, physiology. So like
Mhm.
over here between what I'm calling physiological and psychological, that
Yep.
is 1,000% accepted in the therapeutic world, that it's
Mhm.
bi-directional is what they call
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
That if you change your body, you'll
Mhm.
change how you feel. If you
Right.
change how you feel, your
Mhm.
body will change. But I believe that it's bigger than that. And this is what I'm
Yeah.
bringing to the world. I'm bringing this to the conversation through this, is that your
Right.
impact is also impacted by your wealth. It's all it's multi-directional. It's a
Yes.
continuous loop.
Multi-directional.
And then the
Continuous.
last connection here. So we've explained relational is communication and boundaries. Spiritual is processing energy and developing your intuition. And this, when we cross this bridge, we increase our intimacy.
So I'm sorry, which was that between what and what?
Between relational and spiritual.
So it goes, okay, so that's kind of going back to the beginning.
Exactly. It's a loop.
Right.
It's not like,
Yeah.
so
That's why you need it spatially and not linear sequential. Because I just had to draw a big line back up, like an arc back up to the top. You know what I mean? Can you picture that?
Yes, I can. And I bet how you wrote it would be way better for my teaching points or my outline.
Well,
than for the, like, this might be a better visual aid. And I filled it in front of you on purpose,
Mhm.
because I think if I had it all filled in, people go, oh, I have everything I need. That's a lot. Da, 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 da. But if you stay
Right.
with me while I'm filling it in, I think that's a
Mhm.
better teaching,
Yes.
more engaging.
Yeah, if you just show them that, it's a lot. I mean, they can have that as like a handout after, and then they'll remember what you said. But if you just gave, here it is, I would be like, here, what is? I wouldn't.
You'd be like, oh, here's a lot.
That's,
I don't have time for
yeah,
this right now.
it's a lot. Yeah.
And
But
okay, can I do one more ingredient for our conversation tonight? And then I just want to shut up and listen to your feedback.
sure.
So, my own, like owning my own greatness is as much as I see it in everybody else, and everybody around me always makes more money, gets more confident. They get all of these things when they're just like, I don't know, strangers at a bar. I met a lady in Ireland, and she ended up buying Jake and I 2 rounds of drinks because she was like, I want to keep talking to your wife. And I was like, well, I'm still okay talking to you. And then it got to the point where I was like, okay, now I want to talk to my husband and I appreciate our conversation. But she was like, she left, didn't say it. She just said, thank you. She was very pleasant. She told the bartender, whatever else ends up on their tab for their entire trip, I'm covering it. We didn't find out until the last day of our trip, 4 days later. And it was the one like in our hotel lobby. She covered our whole tab. And granted, it wasn't even that much, but she didn't know. Like we could have been like, who knows?
Yeah. That's awesome.
So I do this for everybody else. And there's a side of me that's like, and I don't know, actually, this is a huge part that's probably for our next conversation, if you're open to it, about this, because I want to make sure I let people know why I'm the one that can talk to them about this. And so when I look at like, okay, your spiritual stuff, processing your energy and developing your intuition, I am level 3 human design certified, and I have taken multiple college level classes in quantum physics, understanding the energetic physiology of energy moving through human beings. Then we move into physiological. My first degree is sports medicine. Like I've got that covered.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but I remembered that. And I said, yep, you got that covered.
Yep. So then psychological. I'm also certified in human needs psychology. And again, performance psychology from my degree. I did 5 years because I basically got 3 degrees in one.
Wow.
So like, I just call it sports medicine, but it's a lot of stuff. So the psychological piece I've got covered on 2 different levels. Then emotional intelligence, again, studying masculine and feminine dynamics from a scientific perspective, as well as over $100,000 invested in mentorship, understanding in a different level. Behavioral, again, high performance is part of my degree, understanding how humans, what makes people tick, masculine, feminine, what makes people self-sabotage, what makes people quit, what makes people become winners. I own that from my degree. And then relational, I'm also an advanced relationship coach. And then we're back at spiritual. And like, I got that. So like, I want to plug those points in, but I don't ever want to make it be like, and by the way, I'm a know-it-all and I know everything.
Right.
But I know everything in this chart. Like the reason I'm so amped up is I'm like, I have friggin' lived this.
Yes.
I have been learning this chart my whole life, and nobody else has this chart. There's no other way. And this will change so many people's lives. If I can simplify 22 years of my life into 5 minutes and at least give them an aha of like, oh, pay attention. These are different areas. Even if you don't hire me, even if you just go like fill up the balloon that you have missing in your life, even if it's with somebody else, like then at least you can be confident you're putting your time, money, energy into the thing that's going to make a difference for what the results you want to see.
Better. Yeah, you're going to get better. Yes.
So excited.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm going to respond to them here because they're saying, okay, it's ready. And I'm going to say, I will be there later on a call. Go on without me. Okay.
All right. If you give me 3 minutes of your time right now, and I will send you the recording or something, and we can do it later if you want. I'm going to pour myself a glass of wine.
I have thoughts. You
but
need
I'll
it. You
take
deserve
all
it.
of your
You've
thoughts.
earned it.
I'm like, it is It's 10:15 here.
Well, I don't want to keep you either. That's late.
No, I'm. Do you think I'm going to sleep
I
with
was
all
just
this
going to say, I don't
energy?
think you're going to sleep, but that's okay. Okay. I'm just trying to be polite here. Let me know when you're ready.
Don't be polite. Give it to me, Dan.
I will. Um, it's an amazing diagram. And I mean, I'm going to start with the positive things, and then if I have questions or concerns or areas for improvement, we'll do that. Like you've said, and I'm going to agree with a lot of things you said. I'm just going to say them back to you so that you can hear them from me. To know
I've fully received validation.
Yeah.
I'm just going to, do you mind if I turn my video off? Does that feel rude? My eyes are like,
no,
I just moved in the lighting and I'm like,
yeah, that's fine.
I'm not quite need glasses all the time, but I think I'm close and I'm trying to spread that out as far as possible. But
Totally
yes,
fine.
I receive validation, constructive criticism, straight out confusion, whatever you got.
Yeah, I'll tell you that too. And it's funny, this doesn't bother me at all because when I do my Zoom classes, none of my students have their cameras on. So this is just normal for me. So what you said that I totally agree with is a couple things. One is that whole dynamic, you've captured an entire person, and so so that's one thing. You've got, I can't think of any other area that isn't covered on that diagram. And the second thing is that oh, I just lost my thought. Well, you've covered the entire person. And like you said, it's a way to look at, well, which ones are out of whack. And then you can kind of focus on that. I love the two. Oh, I was going to say, that was the thought, is that you have amazingly simplified it to its essence. And that's the name of the game. You talk about what you've spent your life doing. I've spent 30 years trying to figure out how I can make complicated concepts simplified for teenagers to understand. And so I recognize when that's happening, and you have done that.
Oh my God, that like makes me want to cry because that is literally, how many times on BCC calls have I said, I don't know how to explain what I do.
But you just did.
I just did. I know this is not a media thing necessarily, but it might end up being.
Well, I have a couple thoughts about that too. So just hang on. Okay.
Okay. I'm listening. I'm listening.
I'm just messing with you.
Sorry.
I love that there are only, because again, as a teacher, I know if you give too much information at a time, they're not going to get it. You have to give it in manageable chunks in a way that they can process it. And then one of the things about learning, which you've got covered here, is that you connect the new thought to the old thought, so that there's a synapse connection. Does that make sense?
So you liked that I crossed the bridge while we were crossing it instead of coming back and being like,
yes, no.
And here's the bridges that got filled in.
Do it along the way. I mean, at least that worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
Do that along the way for sure, because each of those synapse connections totally made sense to me as you were doing them. So that's very cool. The one thought I have that is like, I guess, like, I'm lazy in many ways, and what I talk about in my workshops, kind of just in a cursory way, is just, well, it's mind, body, spirit. You've got those three areas, and if one's out of whack, it's kind of crazy, and you need to work on that. But and because I'm trying to simplify it, I'm like, well, I got it down to three, mind, body, spirit. But I like how you have the two very clear areas in each category, because and not only did they make sense to me, but they this is going to sound really like fancy, and I don't know how else to put it. They encapsulated what that category was. You know what I mean? I mean, like, if I put energy and my intuition together, that is my spirituality, right?
Uh-huh.
If I put let me give another example. The idea of I can't read my own writing here. Because I didn't finish the word. Making empowered decisions and taking aligned action, that is behavior. if you're doing it right. If you're not,
Well, there's also, and this is the part
any
where it's like,
behavior,
even
you know.
even if I teach this to someone,
Mhm.
at the end of it, I'm like, and listen, we all do all of these things.
Yeah.
There's unhealthy way we do them.
Yes.
There's healthy ways we
Yeah.
do them. You can do some unhealthy and some healthy.
Yeah.
You might be doing
Yeah.
all of them unhealthy, like hopefully not,
But
likely not if you're listening to me, but at the end of the day, we all do all of these things because
yes.
we're human. This is
Yeah.
this is a like a blueprint to your human operating system.
Did you write that down?
I've been saying that for years.
Okay. This is a
But
blueprint
yeah,
to
that's
your
good.
human operating system. Oh, it's amazing. And what I love is, and I would make it into a joke because that's who I am. But you know, you say we do all of
I
these
would
things.
too, actually.
Yeah. And we often do them wrong. Right.
Hmm.
And what's amazing to me about this blueprint, and I gotta ask you, do you prefer Beth or Bethany, or does it matter?
I actually prefer Bethany. I only went with Beth
I do
because
too.
Bethany
Okay.
Perry was previously taken, and I'm
Oh,
having a little bit of an identity crisis around that.
well, I think Bethany is a beautiful name, so I'm going to say Bethany.
Thank you. Okay,
Um,
I'll take it.
yeah. So the thing I was saying is, where you're going to get them is saying, but what if, that's always the magic phrase, right? What
Okay, I
if
love that.
you could do all of these things well? Where would you be?
What if you could do all of these things 51% better
Yes,
than you
there you
did
go.
them? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Exactly. I know where that's
you
coming
don't
from.
even have to
Yeah.
be a master at all
Yes.
of them.
Yes.
If
But
you
there
could
are,
just, oh my God, I love this. Okay, my
I,
brain is swirling. Love it.
okay, sorry.
No,
Um,
no, no. Don't apologize. I
I,
appreciate it.
I guarantee that, like you said, there are people who are just, for whatever reason, choosing not even to focus on any of these areas. And if they, it's kind of like how, how they say we only use 10% of our brain.
Yeah.
If you show people these categories and these two elements in each category and then show them how to use them well, they're going to expand, like as an analogy, like you said, if you did it 50% better, like what could you achieve? I mean, like so much, right? And then
Like,
like,
it is my hope that you will be a better human just for me
yeah,
showing you this diagram, not even explaining
yeah,
all of the
not
lessons
even
that
doing
go
it.
with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was going to say again, because here's where I own my own, uh, great stuff is that, and I probably like that lady who bought all your drinks is I know that, and I said this to you, when I talk to you, I improve. And it's
Mm.
happening again. And I'm getting, because you trust me, I'm getting this information early on and already looking and going, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And, and I'm already
You're
saying, well,
seeing it so raw, Dan. So
but,
raw.
and that's the magic of it too, is, I mean, you say you've done this for 30 years and I totally get that. And I totally believe it. But every time you teach it, your messaging is going to get clearer because that's what happens. And so, I don't know, 10 years from now, you know, I was almost going to say when you're my age, but then you'd have to go almost another 10 years. Um, you, you will have the messaging so dialed in that it's gonna be through the roof, and you're gonna be like they're gonna go, you remember that guy Tony Robbins? Well, yeah, he wishes he was like Bethany Perry.
Oh my
Um,
God, that's like the best compliment ever.
yeah, yeah,
Well, and
I
it's
totally
also
feel
like I've already been looking at this today, and I'm like,
it.
because I've told you about the Bethany Vault before, right?
That sounds familiar, but I'm not registering it.
Okay,
Was it
so
in the book?
I had my team basically
Oh
take
yeah, yeah,
all of
yeah.
my
I remember
trainings, PDFs,
that. Uh huh.
videos, this, that, from all the different
Yeah.
programs I've run and I only had them go back 3 years,
Hmm.
and there's over 500.
Holy
Um,
cow.
and I'm like, oh, this training's already done. This training's already
Hmm.
done. This is a lesson for this. It's
Hmm.
like making sense of what
Hmm.
I've already been teaching.
Right. Well, that's the
It's
magic
just,
part is that you've
yeah, this is
synthesized.
this is why I'm like, I'm not going to sleep
Yeah.
for probably
Yeah.
tonight at all. I don't
3
even know.
days. Yeah, no, you've totally synthesized all of that stuff that you've been doing forever. And as you were explaining it, and I didn't want to interrupt you, I was thinking that you could now see. Here's the challenge, and now we're going to transition into some things that you are going to want to think about in terms of how
Give
you
it to
do
me.
this. Yeah, is it's a lot, and and I, like the joke I make in my workshop, and I'm not trying to make this about me, but the joke I make in my workshop is that one of the things I talk about is subtraction, about taking away things out of your life that don't serve you anymore, and and it's like part of the what I used to have a 7-step blueprint, and my joke is that, but I try to walk the talk, and so I realized I didn't need 2 of them, so now it's a 5-step blueprint because I just subtracted 2 of the steps.
Mm-hmm.
So the point is that you could, I was thinking how you could teach any of these 6 areas, and you said this too, by themselves, but it's not the whole picture. So I don't know exactly how that reconciles, but
Mm-hmm.
any of these could be a day-long workshop. I mean, or more.
Dude, any of these could be a 6-month
Well,
program.
yeah, exactly, or a 50-year or a 57-year workshop,
But I
because
hear you.
these
I
are
hear
things that
you.
we are working on every day for our entire lives. So, and then where it really resonated with me is that in the 5-step blueprint that I use and developed is I also kind of go, it is all, even though I'm linear sequential, it is circular in the sense that I say, if you are doing all of the things that I suggest here in these 4 steps, you get, the last step is called cultivating personal peace, which means when you finally do the practice and you have more peace and energy and focus, what are you going to do with that? And what impact can you make, and what cause is important to you that you're going to put that in, that's bigger than yourself. And it takes you all the way to what I call accurate self-insight, which is when you are working in alignment with your value system and your belief system, and making
Mm-hmm.
decisions that are, because then you're happier. Because I say in stress reduction, to me, one definition of stress is the difference between what we're doing and what we want to be doing. And to me, that's where a lot of my stress comes from.
Oh my God, that's fucking genius. I'm gonna
I'm just,
quote you on that.
okay, yeah, I'm just doing shit I don't
I'll
want to do,
totally give you credit. I'll
No, that's
totally give you
fine.
credit, but that
No,
is genius.
speaking of that, I have to say, like, I feel good about the fact that I often put this vibe out, and I do, I don't talk a lot about it, and I'm not super woo woo, but I do believe in energy, and I do believe that I can read energy, and I think it's amazing that you're sharing this with me, because how we did just meet. Now, how do you know that I'm not going to go off and do, steal all this? But I think I wouldn't do that, and hopefully that vibe comes across to
I
you.
didn't even think of that. And now I'm
Oh,
like, oh, fuck. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, but wait,
So
I have lawyers.
Bethany, yeah. Now that you've told it to me, and
But
you
I
know that
didn't
you're,
even,
no,
I love that you didn't think of that. Or
no,
I love that
no.
I didn't think of that.
I love that you didn't think about that either with me, but now I'm telling you, don't tell another fucking soul. Okay. Don't tell anybody. Me and Shamina, that's it. Right. So,
Yeah, like I need to copyright this.
well, or what I mean, like I don't know how to respond to that, because like as a writer, like the law is that anytime you write something, it's already copyrighted. But what you want to do is, well, you've trademarked emotional energy intelligence, right?
Energetic
And
intelligence,
energetic
yes.
okay, yeah, you've trademarked that, so that's good. You've got that. That's yours. You'll want to. I guess it would be trademarking. I don't. It's not patenting, because that's inventions.
No, it's
But
copywriting. It's
okay,
my signature
yeah,
process. It's my map.
you can register it with the Copyright Office, which I think is a good idea. I don't know how much money it costs, but it will cost you some money.
I think it's
But
like $35.
oh,
But I already emailed my lawyers about it today.
okay,
Like I'm
and they will
I'm
know.
I'm not reaching out like, oh, is this a good idea? I'm like, damn, this is a fucking great idea. How
Yeah,
do I make it better?
right. Well, but that again, that graphic that you've drawn, um, is the piece that you're going to want to make sure is your intellectual property, and
Mm-hmm.
legally, however, whatever the process is. I haven't
Yeah.
talked to your lawyers, but that's what you want, and because obviously you can't, you can trademark and copyright energetic intelligence, but you can't copyright the word spiritual or soulful. I mean, because
No, but
that's,
it's the way that they're laid out,
yes, it's
and
the way that they're laid out, and
and
that's why the graphic is so important.
that's actually like, does do you have any hits on like soulful or
Well,
spiritual? Like,
yeah, I get it. I mean, I understand, and it's like, here's the thing. I mean, I had to decide when I called my platform the Zen Teacher. Am I going to be a purist about Zen, or am I going to just say, look,
mm-hmm,
I'm just saying this because the Zen Teacher was a sexier name than the mindful teacher. It just rhythmically, as an expression, it just is better, you know. So,
yep,
and the very first workshop, and I felt, I have to tell you, this is a funny story. I felt like in the back of my head, I'm like, Danny, you're being super racist here. But at the end, an Asian woman started coming up to me, and I was like, she's going to tell me I'm wrong. And then I kicked myself because I'm like, damn, that was a racist thought. And and she came up and told me I was wrong. And I said, I know that I'm not giving a classic purist definition of Zen, but I'm trying to explain to these teachers that they need to accept things as they are, and that's a Zen approach. And so getting close, my point is, getting close is close enough on some things. Now, my thought was, I like soulful, but what I've learned in all these business groups I've been in is you also want to go with what people are accustomed to or what they're expecting to hear. And I think that they're expecting to hear spiritual. I just think it's more common. It's more,
yep,
it's just what they're more accustomed to. Because, like, you've heard Chris and Jen say this, if you say something and your audience goes, well, what do you mean by that? You're already behind. It's like they just need to know what you're talking about. And so I think I would go with spiritual.
yeah, okay, I like that. And also, like, when I was thinking about it today, I was going soulful, and I'm like, now I
Mhm,
have to explain it. That's
mhm.
weird. Spiritual,
Yeah.
you don't have to explain,
Well,
but I have like a joke
uh-huh.
slash meme that I make
Mhm.
about, like, listen, this is not religious.
Right.
Religions do refer to spirituality.
Mhm,
So religions call it spirit,
mhm.
scientists call it energy, and
Call it your
every day,
conscience or your
ev-
insides or,
but here's what the meme said, and I loved
Mhm,
this. So
mhm,
if I ever do it on a slideshow, I'll probably include the meme
mhm,
where it basically says, like, religion calls it spirit,
mhm,
scientists call it energy,
mhm.
us in the streets call it vibes.
Yeah,
Like,
that's perfect. Yeah, see? Exactly.
it's just we all know
Yeah.
what it is. You can't
Yes.
deny it exists.
No,
And
but you just
I
call it different things.
and that's actually probably a perfect, like,
Yeah.
segue into my story about how I am such a scientific
Mhm,
geek
mhm,
that I resisted anything woo for a
mhm,
long time because it couldn't be proven.
mhm.
And I got to the point where I was like, wait a minute. If all this science I've studied for all these years actually changes the energy of planets, can change their
Yeah.
degree of rotation,
Mhm.
how
What happened? Yeah.
egotistical am I to think that I'm not impacted
Right.
by
Right.
these energies,
Yes.
whether you call it spirit,
Mhm,
energy, vibes, whatever?
mhm.
They have been scientifically proven. And I was such a resistor that I'm like the perfect person to teach this because
That
I
should be part
basic
of your workshop or whatever, however you communicate this.
okay.
Yeah, is saying that I resisted this too, but I realized that there is a science behind this. But also, I think people also, in addition, and this is another thing, and you've said this too, is people are hardwired for stories, and you're going to want to have a lot of stories, and I know you do because I read your book. I know
Mhm.
you have tons of stories. But
I
yeah,
do
which is
have a lot
awesome.
of
I
stories.
and I put this in the review. I understand why you said to me, um, I what did I say? I said something like part diary, part journal, part manifesto. Bethany Perry does da 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 da. But you said it's like my diary, and I didn't know exactly what you meant by that. But as I was reading it, I was like, oh, okay, now I understand what she meant by that because it's very vulnerable, and you just put it out there. So that was, but that's how people learn, is by people sharing parts of themselves. So,
Yep.
so I would say those things that you just said, use that meme, explain that it doesn't matter what you call it, but people like a little magic too, you know, I mean, they like a little mystery, they like a little unexplained, because
Mm-hmm.
that makes it intriguing. And they'll want to wrestle. Now, again, it's not like you're proselytizing or trying to, you know, cram a religion down their throat, but you are saying there are certain things like I can't see gravity, but it's there, you know?
Yes.
And so there, you know, you have to understand that there are things out here that we cannot see and cannot explain, but it doesn't mean they're not there. Right. So, and that goes in that number one bubble or whatever. And what I have a whole part in my workshop where I talk about intuition, and I wrote a blog post called "Intuition Doesn't Scream," meaning that I'm big on stillness and silence, because you can't, with the white noise of the world, you can't listen to your intuition. You have to be still. You have to be silent because it whispers. But when you listen to it, I say, number one, it's always right. And number two, it's trying to help you. And when
Mm-hmm.
people go against the intuition, that's when we run into trouble.
Yes. I
So
actually, that's such a powerful thing. Like your intuition screams.
it doesn't scream.
It doesn't scream.
Yeah, it
Listen to it.
whispers. Yeah,
Your
yeah.
intuition,
You have to be
because yeah,
quiet
like our
and
intuition
still.
doesn't ever beat us up.
No.
Oh my God. Side note,
Yeah.
um, how I came up with this framework, by the way, I kind of busted all the business training I've been through on how you're supposed to create frameworks, but
Good. That'll
I
make you
teach
original.
I teach a certain way of frameworks that is based on like T. Harv Eker and
Uh-huh. I know that dude.
a number
He's
of
funny.
other, yeah, he's so
He's a
funny.
character.
A number of other mentors I have, and I
Mhm.
actually like, it's funny because like it's like literally at this point, my husband, Shamina, and you know about this.
Mhm. I feel privileged for sure.
Well, I appreciate you as a safe person, and I see the
Mhm.
value you could add to
Good.
how I'm moving forward with this.
Mhm.
And I appreciate you back.
Mhm.
So there you go. But also like even, you know, just it's not just like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I have this cool idea, but it boils down to this is what I fucking teach, Dan. Like
Yeah.
I've taught this for so many years, and
It's in your marrow. It's who you are. Yeah.
Shamina, seriously, like she wants me to sign up with this coach. It's like a $20,000 investment.
Jeez Louise.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm thinking about it. And I know it's a 2-coach team. And one of the coaches, she only even found these coaches because of people I introduced her to. So
Right.
she's like, I'm in here because of you. You got to come with me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but she looked at me today and when I was sharing this and she goes,
Mhm.
you don't even, she goes, do you understand how powerful you are? And I was like, I'm starting to,
I don't think
I'm
you do.
starting to know.
Yeah. I
I
really
don't,
don't think you do. Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
because Shamina was like, you have the fucking Post-it notes, you have the framework, you have the
Mhm.
system. She goes, you teach this because I taught this to Shamina, I don't know, probably like 6 months ago. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm. Yeah.
on a like girls' night. I was like, we were celebrating something for her, and that's where our conversation went. But it's also I teach frameworks
Mhm.
and I teach it really simple, really easy. And I'd
Yes.
be happy to teach you the basic outline that most people teach. The way I came up with it, like, I can't promise, like, I'm not going to teach you, like, oh, here's your 6 bubbles. Cause
Mhm.
I don't think that, but that's like my go to is I'm like, it's great to have somebody show you what worked for them, but it's better to have somebody show you what worked for you.
Right.
So,
Well, and these bubbles are universal.
but
That's what I'm saying.
they're universal because that's the way I'm supposed to teach my whole life.
Right. But I mean,
I think.
it seems like an or it seems counterintuitive or an oxymoron, however you want to think of it.
I'm sorry.
But
Were you giving me a compliment and I didn't receive
no,
that very well?
no,
Yes,
no,
Dan.
no, 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 no. I mean, if I say something and you don't think it's true, you have to call me on that shit too. But
No, of course I would, but like I agree with you. I think I just actually like kind of like side blocked the compliment. And I was like
well,
coming back to
no,
be like, I received that.
there you go. No, it's just I'm saying that the bubbles are universal because, like I said, it's a whole person, right? But how what you but what you do with those bubbles is what makes you an individual. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it's
A
like
thousand
I don't
percent.
know if you can see me on the screen, but the
Oh, I'll
bubbles are
pick up my phone. Hold
universal.
on.
Okay.
Okay, I'm watching.
The bubbles are universal, but what you do with them is what makes you an individual within those bubbles. And everybody's going to be different. But we all have to grapple with these 6 things. And to me, like, and I'm just putting this together now. I knew it intuitively when you were going through it, but now I can articulate it. Is like, it's not um, revolutionary to me to hear that part of us is spiritual, part is physiological, part is psychological. But what is magical? What the epiphany or the epiphany in this case, bad joke, is
I love that joke.
okay, there you go. Is the connections, is the increase words of
Mm.
when you put them together. I have never heard that in my life. It makes perfect sense. Here's how you've made me better in this conversation, because I tell you it happens every single time. Is what I do now is if I go, I need more self-trust. I look at the left side of where I've put I put brackets instead of the connection of the Venn diagram from
Okay.
spiritual, physiological, and then self-trust. And then between physiological and psychological, increase in purpose. I put those as brackets, like margin notes in the margin on the side to the left
Mm-hmm.
margin. If I want more self-trust, I know I need to work on spiritual and physiological. If I want more purpose, I know I need to work on 3 and 4. If, that is a recipe for success.
Yes, I actually have
absolutely.
been playing around with my course name,
Mhm.
and I was thinking
Well,
of
that's an
calling
old
it,
expression, but
I was thinking of calling it Success Simplified.
I like the alliteration, but I think here's where I'm going to give you tough love. You can do better than that.
I know.
That name does not live up to this.
I know. And you know how I know is because I don't feel
Yeah.
about that course
Yeah.
name like I feel
Feel it.
about
Wait
this
till you feel it.
diagram or
Yeah.
I feel
Wait.
about this. But
Those have to align, right?
mhm.
Wait till you feel the way about the name that you feel. And like, I don't know, I'm gonna take a shot in the dark here. Oh, there she is again. Are you by any chance a fan of the TV show Mad Men? Did you ever watch that?
I did, yeah.
Okay. There's one episode, I'm going way back, I'm just gonna try to put this out there, where Don Draper has gone through some trouble, and he actually got demoted, and then he's actually working for Peggy, and it's just like a weird thing. And he has to sit down on a typewriter and write 50 taglines. And as a writer and a burgeoning business person, I was blown away by that, because I'm like, people don't do that. God, I'm getting chills, Bethany, and literally in chills. Of sitting down and sit at the computer and write 50 fucking names until you get the right combination that it jumps out at you, and the bells go off in your head and in your heart, and you're like, yeah, that's the one. Now, there's nothing wrong if it has the word success in it. That's what you're going to be talking about. But do ask yourself the question too of, what is this program all about? What is the transformation? What do I want to communicate about the program to the client or the listener or whatever, right? I won't say all of that has to be in the title, but they have to hear some of those things in the title in a way that gets them to want to know more. Now, I probably don't do that enough with my own stuff, but so it's definitely a do as I
We
say,
always
not as I do
teach what
thing.
we need to learn.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely,
No
totally.
judges here, Dan.
Okay,
Listen,
okay.
I mean, I'm like, I've been trying to incorporate energetic intelligence into
Mhm.
the title of the course. And I'm like,
Why not just call
none
it
of them
that?
are working. None of, but
But why don't you just call it that?
maybe I should.
Well, I
Did
mean,
you just see it like my face? I was like,
well,
oh, oh.
it is what it is. But I mean, but then we go back to what I said about and
But
I
that's
think,
like energetic intelligence 101.
okay, but then I think Chris maybe even said this too, is are people going to go, well, what is that? Or what does that mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now they
So,
will, because I haven't built enough of a
right.
name.
But there's also, right, and people will go, oh, it's the energetic intelligence lady. You know, you'll be that person eventually. But the other way to solve that problem
Better than
is,
being the cat lady.
it's better than being you'll never be the cat lady. But you can also solve this problem with subtitles, right? I have a course
Mhm.
called Instant Zen, and I hope that intrigues people. But the subtitle is 5 simple steps to reclaiming your focus, energy, and peace. It tells you what you're going to get.
Yes, and I love a good subtitle, because
Yeah.
even in that, and now the student is becoming the teacher. So
Sure.
sorry if we're switching hats
No.
real quick, but like
Yeah.
5 simple steps for a teacher to,
Mhm.
like, who is it for? It doesn't,
Well,
it tells
it's
me what it does.
yes. Oh, you froze up a little bit. I'll wait till
It's
you
for.
unfreeze. Oh, there we go. You're absolutely right, and I'll tell you the reason I did that is because this is the course that I created to help me transition into corporate. Because it was, I don't mention education in the course at all.
Then bravo.
Yeah, because this was the one where I
Yes.
thought I'm moving over here, so I don't want, I mean, teachers are buying it, which is great, but they already, and this is what's important to you, like what you were saying about the name, is they already know me as that guy. So it'll just be in them that, oh, this is going to work for me as a teacher. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's already part of my brand. But when I go into corporate, and I don't, I can't mention teachers or education or being in the classroom or anything like that. You know, I just have to mention when you're stressed out, do this.
I almost think there's an adjective waiting for you
Mm,
that will make that more powerful. And it might not
mm,
be teacher. Well,
mm,
obviously it's not teacher, but like, I think it might be something around. So, for example, like when people talk about like who's your ICA, right? Like who's your ideal
mhm,
client? I call it my brand hero. I don't really
mhm,
resonate with ICA.
mhm,
Ideal community or brand hero are my go-to terms.
mhm.
And for that, I really focus on psychographics and soul graphics.
What's
Like,
that?
what are the
Oh,
adjectives
oh,
that
now I got it.
describe
Yeah.
what they're thinking or what they're
I was thinking
feeling?
graphics like pictures, not like demographics, but now I got you.
Yeah, and demographics are real. Like, if you want to run Facebook ads and you don't know
Mhm,
your demographics,
mhm.
good
Yeah, it's very
luck.
hard to do. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
I've lost a lot of money on that for
something
me.
around. I think there's an adjective that is waiting for you
Mhm.
to add to that. Like, I think
Well,
it's amazing, and take it or leave it,
mhm,
but like, I do think there's an adjective where it's not the overachiever who wants to da da da.
mhm.
It might be the ambitious.
Well, again, that's the subtitle. And what I'll tell you is that in going into corporate, I just had a slight title shift, and I'm going to go from the Zen teacher to the Zen professional. And so maybe that's the adjective that you were thinking. It's not in the
Mm-hmm.
subtitle, but that's going to be the umbrella. In fact, one thing I might ask of you at some point, it doesn't have to be immediately, is I have a little prototype of a Zen professional website that I've whipped up. If I could just send you a link and you could just look at it, that
Of
would be
course,
great.
100%.
Thank you.
And also, when you say umbrella, what is your LLC name?
That was my next question for you is, do you remember in the call the other day when I messaged you privately and I said something, you said, I've been percolating on it. Did you read what I put or did
Yeah, I replied to you,
okay.
I thought, unless I
Oh,
replied
oh,
to
I didn't.
some other Dan in the group.
Oh no, I didn't see a reply. What
Oh,
did you
okay.
say?
Okay.
You
Basically
remember?
like, tell me what's going on.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
no,
didn't
no,
get
no.
an
I saw
update.
that. No, and then I told you, but then I didn't get a response back.
Oh, I didn't see your other
Okay.
reply then.
What you said that has just been swimming around in my head since our last call, and that I'm really using as a we're getting away from your thing though. I shouldn't should we
No,
keep
you're
going?
fine. You're
Okay.
fine. It's conversational. You're getting
Okay.
away
Well,
from your dinner with your kids, but
that's we usually have that, so I'm not too concerned this time. But you said, and this blew my mind, is if you want a gallon of something, the universe will give you a gallon of something. But if your container is a quart, all you're going to get is a quart.
Mhm.
Because what you made me realize is my container is a quart, and I'm
Yep.
asking for a gallon, and my container is a quart. So I need a bigger container. And part of that, you said, get a merchant account and, figure out how they're going to pay you and da, 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 da. But part of that is I know that one of my next steps that I said, well, I can never afford that, is the LLC. I'm a one-man operation. I'm very scrappy. I haven't done anything like that. If something went bad, they could come after me, take the house, whatever. I know I need to do that. But then I don't know enough and really haven't been able to afford lawyers or anything. Do I get an LLC or do I get something called an S corp, or which? What do I do now? The good news is I just did a Zen teacher workshop that I quoted and I got $1,000, which was great, and I think I can take that and I now I can make that happen. So, but I don't know which one I'm supposed to do. How do I know?
Do you have anyone help you with your taxes?
Just H&R Block person.
Okay, so H&R Block, they're fully qualified. Here's the
Okay.
deal. Um, Call them
Mhm.
and say, if I open a business as an
Mhm.
LLC, what
Mhm.
is what does that do to my taxes?
Mhm.
And what happens to my taxes if I open as an S corp?
Okay. Yeah.
You ask them that question,
Mhm.
and I am not trying to be presumptive, but you and
Mhm.
I have a friendship at this level where
Mhm.
we know enough things about each other. Um, if you're not making more than $250,000 a year through your business,
Okay.
you don't need an S corp. And in fact, it
Oh,
hurts you in
okay.
your taxes. I'm
Okay.
not a tax professional. I don't
Right.
want you to take my
But no,
advice
but
as
that's yeah.
a tax
I'm
professional.
hearing your
So
disclaimer. Yeah.
call
Yeah.
H&R Block and say, if I
Yeah.
open as an LLC, what happens? If I open as
Mhm.
an S corp, what happens?
Mhm.
My projected income is.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I mean, and it's good. I know you won't think that I'm being vain when I say this, but one thing that I've been afraid to admit, and these last couple months in these courses with Chris and Jen and you guys have helped me admit, is that I'm onto something here. I have potential. I know I can make this into something. But right now, and I know we don't, like you said, we're at a level where we can talk numbers and stuff like that. Is I think one last year it was like, because remember this is a side hustle, but it was like 17,000, and the year before it was like, or no, one year it was like 18,000, and the year before it was 16,000. So it's getting more, but I need to, as I've been talking about in the group, I need to get out of my
You know
way.
who else had a side hustle?
Hmm.
Sarah Blakely. You know who
Oh,
that
geez,
is?
I do know who that is. You mean the
Yep.
billionaire lady?
Yep. You know who else had a side hustle?
Oh,
Steve Jobs. You know who else
he
had a
did,
side
yeah.
hustle? Who else started their parents' friggin' garage?
Like a lot of people. Yeah, I totally see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
So I know,
So,
yeah,
but
but
but tax reasons
Mhm.
and financial reasons, um, here's what I know to be true:
Mhm.
that most humans, all of us, go, I
Have
think I
six
want to do,
areas.
I think I want to do this thing,
Mhm.
and we make up how much it costs, or we make up how hard it is,
Right.
and
Yeah.
we don't actually ever take 5 minutes. We have Google.
Yes. Yes. The world at our fingertips.
Do you know how long it takes to file an LLC?
No.
I can tell you, in Connecticut, it took me 5 minutes. I did it myself. I didn't
Wow.
need to hire a lawyer.
Mhm. It's like
Um,
LegalZoom or something like that, or
I literally went onto the government website,
Mhm,
did it myself because
mhm,
it's very straightforward and my business is very straightforward.
mhm,
It's online coaching
mhm.
and it's this and it's that. And it's
Do
just me. And I did it
Yeah.
in 5 minutes and it cost me $250 every two
Mhm,
years that I paid after the first 2 years. So it
mhm.
cost me $0 and took me 5 minutes.
Wow. Now I
And
know in
then I got
California.
scared. Just
Mhm,
side note, I got scared a year in, like, did I do it wrong? And I paid a lawyer
mhm,
$250 to double check,
mhm.
and I had done it right.
I don't know. I think that $250 is worth the peace of mind. So
A
I know what you're
thousand
saying, but
percent.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not, but I'm just saying
yeah, that it's
that's
easy
a
that you did.
total
Yeah.
of $500 I
Mhm.
paid a year in, 1 year later, and then another time two
Yeah.
years later in Connecticut. It is state by state what an
Mhm,
LLC costs, what an S corp costs. There
mhm.
are tax implications, so you do want to talk to your tax person.
Yeah. California has an $800 fee to do. I mean, not it's not to file, but it's like an extra tax that you have to pay just one time, I think. So with this, that's why I was figuring this one workshop $1,000. I got it, but that's part of me making the bigger container.
But this is the thing: is you can get all of these questions answered on
Mhm,
a free consult with a lawyer.
mhm. Right, that's true too. Oh, our dogs are
So
going crazy.
just go get the answers.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then you can be like, oh, it's $5 million and I want to do it. I'm going to make five, all right, not
yeah,
5 million, but like,
yeah,
you get
yeah,
what I'm saying, right?
yeah,
Like, oh, it's $800
yeah.
and an $800 legal fee and uh, another $400 a year.
Mhm.
Okay. Then you can make an informed decision.
Right, exactly. But
But
yeah,
if you're
right
sitting here
now,
thinking like business owners probably pay millions of
yes,
dollars to be business owners,
and
I'm
that's
not a
what I do,
millionaire,
and that's
so
what I
I
do.
can't do it.
Yeah,
Get in reality, Dan.
you are
Get
in
in
my head,
reality.
girl. Yeah,
Get
that's
in
exactly.
reality.
Yeah,
Because you know what? I have a dream of having a private chef. And
yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
that's for rich people, that's for celebrities.
yeah.
I looked it up.
Mhm.
It's like $150 a week for like base level private
Yeah,
chefing.
yeah.
I'm like, okay, I mean,
I could totally do that. Yeah,
I don't have that in my
right.
budget for
Yes.
chefing
Yeah,
right now.
yeah,
But then I was like, well, I don't just want to know what's the bare minimum. Like, what do I
mhm,
really want? I want like
yeah,
random sushi and this, and I want them to grocery shop and do all the things.
yes,
So I went and I figured that out, and that's like $300 a week plus the
yeah,
groceries.
yeah.
So if my groceries get more expensive, my bill gets more expensive. But it's like I'm like, okay,
That's
three
not
hundred
out of
dollars a
the
week
realm of
is not
possibility.
nothing to sneeze at, but
Right.
that is not like
Yeah.
impossible.
No, it's not. And when you do what you need to do that, it will again be relative. What was somebody said in the group the other day that like $50,000 for I think they said Jay-Z, whoever, I'm an old guy, I don't know who exactly that is, but for $50,000, Jay-Z's a singer, rapper, or somebody like that.
He's kind of like Fonz,
Okay. So they said like what? What
like
did you
Fonz,
Oh,
the
the Fonz. Okay. I
Fonz.
was like, that's
I'm
right.
like,
See,
don't not get my
it's
joke,
a
Dan.
it's a different generational thing, I guess. But yeah, no, now I know who you're talking about. But they said $50,000 to him is like $100 to us.
Hmm.
So, and you're the one who told me, gave me the exercise of figure out a number and then go around saying it until it's normalized.
Hmm.
And that has helped. And because
And
again,
not even that. Actually, I love you, and that's not even the exercise I gave you. That's what your
oh,
brain heard.
oh, what did you
So
say?
that's pretty cool. Is to just normalize numbers with
Yes,
money.
yes.
Like, oh, that paperclip at Tiffany's is one paperclip at Tiffany's is $1,500. Oh, I could feed 10
Yeah.
children at the school for a year for $1,500.
Mhm.
Oh, my mortgage payment is $1,500. Oh,
I could buy one
whatever, like you
paperclip
just,
if it
but
is.
but when you just start saying the number
Yeah.
and you just start realizing like it's a paper clip or it's feeding 10 kids for a year and it's or my mortgage for a month or it's all the Christmas presents I buy for everybody in my family,
again,
or
it's energy.
but it actually takes the energy off of it.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that
because
you're
the numbers
now
are relevant.
money is energy.
Mhm.
And it's money doesn't have its own energy. Money is just a piece of paper.
Right.
Money takes on the energy of whoever is holding it and spending it.
And what they want to do with it.
And so this is why, like, I had a really big resistance to getting wealthy for a long time because I was like, I don't want to be a bad person. Like, this is part of
Right.
my coding is that
Yep.
drug dealers, bad
Yes.
people, greedy people, like, you know,
And they're all
Hitler,
mean. Yeah.
those are like
Yeah.
wealthy people.
Yes.
Those are people that get everything they want. And I've had to do a lot of my own energetic intelligence work.
Exactly.
Right there.
Yeah.
I've lived this so many times. And what was mind blowing to me is when I realized money is an energetic exchange,
Definitely.
but it has no energy of its own.
Right.
So if I give you money, let's say I'm a drug dealer and I give you money, the money I give you starts to do good in the world.
Mm-hmm.
If you give me money, I'm still the drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a moral compass and I don't care, like, da 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 da. Like, let's just say I'm like a bad drug dealer, because I don't even think drug dealers are like all bad people. I just think they got lost along the way. I have a lot of compassion for pretty much everybody, but I do believe that money is a form of power that's universally accepted.
Right.
And the more good-hearted people who do healthy things with their emotions will do healthy things with their money.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah. And I want to be one of those people, and you can be one of those people, and you can have a private chef.
I already am one of those people.
Yes.
So the more money
go.
I get, I know I'm going to do more good in this world.
Right. Right.
And I am like, I know my diagram works because I like friggin' had to call myself out. I was like, oh, that's where I'm blocked right now.
Yeah.
Bethany, like you're kicking your own ass. But
I want to find your, and thank you for all of that. I want to find the notes again because my notebook's shut, and then see if I had any other thoughts, because I want to.
I'm totally gonna pick your brain on this again, Dan.
And we can't talk about all of this in one time.
Are you okay with me like including you in the behind the scenes of this? Like, because I don't want you to feel. I think we have a mutual respect and a mutual agreement to have an open door, and I don't want to take advantage of that, but I also don't want to like ignore that. So I will walk through the door.
Yes,
and
please.
if at any point you need to shut the door, it doesn't mean it's locked. That's okay.
It goes both ways.
Okay.
I hoped that I had enough to offer to reciprocate the benefits that I get from talking to you. So I'm pleased.
You're so sweet. You're so sweet.
It's true. I'm pleased. Here's my question is, I wrote down when you were talking, and I get that you said, this is what you've lived. You've taught it for 30 years. You are certified and trained in all of these areas, but why this and not Kaizen? Or are you doing both? Or are they're separate?
That's a good question. So the Kaizen Woman is my brand.
Kaizen Woman. Okay.
Which basically...
But it's a system too, right?
I have my Kaizen communication.
Okay.
And Kaizen is a core value of my brand.
Right. Constant improvement.
Energetic intelligence is the signature process I teach to help people fully embody Kaizen.
I'm sorry, say that again, please.
energetic
Oh, got it.
intelligence
Okay.
is the
Yeah.
signature process
Mhm.
I teach to help
Mhm.
people actually achieve Kaizen.
Okay. That makes sense. So they're separate, but you use the energetic intelligence system to teach the Kaizen. Well, again, I think if, and I hope I'm understanding you correctly. Like I said, if you did all of the 6 areas well, you would be in a state of constant improvement.
I think I love this question because me having clarity of being like, oh, how would I answer this? Because I
Mhm.
haven't had anybody ask me that. So I love that.
Mhm.
It's kind of like um, Nike has their waterproof technology
Mhm.
and they use it in all their clothes and their
Mhm.
shoes and their this and their that. So I'm the Kaizen woman, aka Nike,
Uh-huh.
and energetic intelligence is the waterproof technology that
I see.
makes us Nike.
That's a great analogy. Very clear. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that clarified it for me too, just saying it
Good.
out loud. So
Good. Yeah.
I love that.
Let me look at my notes here and see if I have anything else. Uh, I don't think so. Did you have any other questions for me about it? Okay.
No, I think I'm going to have a shit ton more comments or
Hmm.
questions, not
Hmm.
comments, questions.
Hmm.
Um, when I get a more clear way of teaching. But even one of my, I think, best downloads I had from our conversation,
Hmm.
listening to you talk, I'm like, oh, this isn't a one master class. This is a 3-day free master class. If I'm teaching it for free, it might even be a
This
paid
is,
master class.
yeah.
And I'll probably only do, if I do it free, it will probably be free once.
Hmm.
And then it will be a paid, here's
And
what I stand for, evergreen type
okay,
paid
like a
product.
workshop or like a course or what format?
So when I say masterclass, what I'm thinking is like,
Because everybody calls masterclass everything, like from a webinar to a
okay, so like I
retreat
would,
to
what I'm thinking in my head is I'm like, we're going to break down the overview. The goal is to help you understand your human operating system
Mm,
so that you, by the end of all 3 of these classes,
mm,
you will have customized
mm,
your energetic blueprint,
mm,
or you will have something. I'll play with the titles, but like blah, blah,
mhm.
blah, something, an energetic intelligence blueprint that you can customize for your own roadmap to success.
I see. Yeah.
And
But-
day 1 and 2, we're going through like I'll give like a brief overview of the bubbles, but I'm not gonna connect all the
Right.
bridges. I'm not gonna do
Right.
all the twos, but I'm gonna say like, but then day 1, as well as doing the overview, we will also do the first 2 bubbles.
So they're going to be
Spirituality,
building what they want in each of these bubbles.
yes. And then day 2, we come in and we do bubble 3 and bubble 4. And then day
Yeah.
3, we come in and
Yeah.
do bubble 5 and bubble 6. And by the way, here's the full picture, the complete dot. And if you want to go deeper into any of the side bubbles that I've mentioned, here's my program for you.
And when do you, well, wait, so if you're teaching these 3 bubbles in a 3-day masterclass, and then you say, well, if
6
you want,
bubbles,
6 bubbles, I'm sorry,
2 bubbles per
2 bubbles,
day.
yeah. But then what do you teach when
Free
they want to, when they go deeper with you?
uh each of the 2 side bubbles off of each bubble.
Okay, so, okay, you're talking about the, like identify,
So like
uh,
if I teach spirituality and I
mhm,
say we need to, in this case, we need to understand how to process energy
mhm.
and how to
Develop
develop your
intuition.
intuition. So the best way to get started with this, here's some key points to consider.
Mhm.
The way we customize this for people is we go deeper in da 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 da
And
da
then
da da.
that's when they buy your program. Got
But
it.
I think I will give, I mean, honestly, like I didn't even go into any of the side bubbles. And I think this framework alone is enough to change people's lives.
Oh,
So the
yeah.
fact that I would go into each of these 2 things and be like, oh, here's the 7 lessons I teach on this side
Mhm.
bubble of bubble
Mhm.
1. And here's the 5 lessons I teach on the side bubble 2 of bubble
Mhm.
1.
Mhm.
Yeah, like here's the 12 lessons I teach on just the spiritual bubble, and I'm
Mhm.
going to tell you them so you have an awareness,
Mhm.
and we're going to go really deep into one of each of them
Yeah.
so that they have like
That's
a
an
like
amazing program.
that's if that's my free fucking master class, just imagine what
Yeah,
my programs are like. You know what I mean?
exactly. And when do you, and maybe I missed this, but when would you like I don't, I'm not, what am I trying to say? I'm not in favor of keeping things from people, but if you have a system, but the those synapse connections with the words increase, save that for your program. Tell them that
Mm,
that's a gift they get if they go deeper with you. Because like you said, even just talking about the 6 areas, people are going to improve their lives in the free masterclass. But the magic, uh, the 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 lock and key is the increase connection.
mm.
You
That's
know what I
a
mean?
huge thing to consider because
Yeah.
I feel like you're so right.
Mhm.
And I have a lot of resistance to that. So I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm over here in my emotional bubble having resistance. Like, how cool is this that
you're
you and
like
I both know what I'm talking about?
that
Um,
you're using your own system to assess your own experience.
but it might almost be maybe I teach the 6 bubbles and I give the keys of like,
Mhm.
this is how we increase your purpose. And there's
Mhm.
2 key ways that we do this. And I don't
Yes.
tell the 2 keys.
Right, that or even, and again, you don't want to give away too much, but I have these 2 keys, but there's also connections between the 6 areas that you only learn if you join my program.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, what
Oh,
if I'm looking at it, I'm like, what if I maybe don't give the keys? Like, I don't
mhm.
say,
Process energy and develop intuition and
yeah. And I just say, like, see, I don't know. I feel like, honestly, like, Dan, I look at this chart and I'm like, that's fucking nothing. Like, that is nothing. I mean, it's awesome.
oh, it's
I'm
like a,
so
you
excited
mean it's
about
like
it.
an outline or a
But I'm
skeleton?
like, you don't fucking know how to do any of that shit without my help. You don't
Oh,
know
oh, yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
you
You don't
don't know
know what
how
it
to
means. Yeah,
process your energy.
yeah,
You don't know how to
yeah.
develop your intuition, and you
Mhm.
don't know how to you don't know how to activate your biohacks, and you don't know how to cultivate your neural pathways. And
No,
if you don't know how to do those 4 things, there's no way you can bridge the gap to increase
right.
your self-trust.
Yes,
And
yes,
I teach you how to do all of those things. Like,
yes.
I can tell you those things and you're like, yes, that makes sense. I like it. I feel
Mhm.
inspired. I'm going to pay attention to my life differently and try to figure
Yes.
that out on my own.
That's exactly what I
But
was
if
gonna
you
say.
want, if you want me to teach you, I can teach you how to do all of those things.
Yes.
I almost
That's it. That's the structure
I
right there,
almost
what you
feel
just
like
said.
I look at this and I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't give too much away. You
Right, because
and
they won't know.
I will copyright it. I will trademark
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
I dare somebody to try to steal it and know what the fuck they're talking about because
Well,
they
yeah,
have
that's it.
not lived my life.
No. But see, you said something that I was gonna say, which is as an outsider looking in, if I saw this on a sales page or if I saw it in a webinar or whatever, I would go, I'm a pretty smart guy and I know what she means by process energy. And I've been working for years to develop my intuition. So I just need to remember to do more of that. Right. But I wouldn't know how
Ooh,
you,
you know what I'm going to do?
what?
When I teach it, I'm going to draw it out, but I'm only going to put an S in the spiritual bubble. I'm not going to write out spiritual.
Oh, mhm.
And when I say process energy, I'll put like, I don't know, some star. I'll put like a
Mhm.
symbol or something. Like, I'll do a
Okay.
star and
Yeah.
develop your intuition. I don't know. Like, I think I'm going to play around with that. I'm definitely
Yeah.
not going to use full words when I
Hmm.
teach it
Hmm.
because I think then if people want to understand what they're looking at, they have to listen to me explain it. And when
Yeah.
I explain it and I use stories and I say, like,
Hmm.
okay, so, and I'll tell a story about how I
Yeah.
didn't know how to process energy and I thought
Hmm.
I did. And
Hmm.
then when I reveal that it's process energy, I'll be like,
Well,
this is the thing.
and here's the thing is that you don't have to worry about being too fancy. And I'll tell you the very first high-end program I invested in that was, they're all $2,000. So that's what it was. He literally, you could tell he did the videos in his apartment, and he had a flip chart like you have. And he put, when he wanted us to listen, just like you're talking about, he literally just put big Post-its over the answer or the whatever it was he didn't want us to see yet. And when he was ready and he said it, he just took the Post-it off.
I love that. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
my battery's gonna die. My video just went
okay.
off.
Well, let's say goodnight for now.
Oh my gosh, Dan, I love you. This was way more than the 15 minutes I thought it was gonna. I was like, I can just show him and he can give me some like hoorah and whatever. And you went above and beyond. I adore you.
I'm gonna drop things. I adore you. I'm gonna drop things when I encounter life-changing things. I can eat dinner later, right? So you've done it again, and thank you. You're just one of my favorite people in that entire group to talk to. So anytime. So yeah.
Well, I don't expect you to drop things, but I feel very, I don't know. I kind of feel like Beyonce over here that you drop things for me, and please like share with your kids that like I say thank you for sharing you with me during dinner time.
I will.
I think that's just something like as a parenting relational bridge hack. Sometimes we don't say like, oh, I did this thing that was important, and they know that other stuff is important other than them. But if you say like, also the person that I was with, like you could just be like, listen, I was talking to my colleague Bethany, and she had a really big breakthrough today, and she knows that I missed dinner with you guys, and she said thank you for sharing me because I made a big difference in her business. And you can say that without lying, because that is 100% true.
Well, that's good to know, and I definitely will say that. And what I'll leave you with is, if you can think of any way I can make a bigger container, you let me know, because I'm committed to doing that.
I already told you I'm going to teach you my framework thing, because I already see your bigger container needs a framework.
Yes. But okay, we'll talk about that later. But thank you for sharing this with me and for your trust. And
Dan, yes. All right, so let's reach out soon.
You tell me when you're free. I'm teaching from home, so it's up to your schedule.
Okay, I actually am in a place where I'm like pretty much for probably the next 2 months. I don't know if it's not like a client call or an interview call or something that's like paid where I'm paying or I'm getting paid. I don't know that I can make a super ahead of time commitment, but I do have enough free time where it's like, it's
if it's spontaneous and you just do like you did tonight, and sometimes I'll go, I can't do it. I'll just say I can't do it.
Okay. As long as I know that you'll say you can't do it, and I'll be like, great, try again. Like maybe Thursday, if maybe like penciled in appointments are good, I can do those.
I will look for messages from you that just say, how about now? Okay. And that can be the entire message.
I friggin' love you.
It's mutual. Yeah.
Dan, thank you for tonight. Yeah. Thank you for sharing my win and celebrating with me and being a trusted confidant.
You. Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
And tell Shamina I would like to connect with her at some point too. We haven't. If she wants to.
No, I'm sure she would like to. I've said so many nice things about you. And she's like, I have to. She's already said to me, she's like, I know. She's like, I have to connect with Dan. She's like, you can't have friends with it. Like that with people that are amazing, and I don't even like give them but not in like a weird way. Like we're not like possessive of our friends, but she's just like, she's just what? She's like, Dan's amazing like that. I'm like, you don't even know. I mean, she's like, I mean, he's funny and he's smart, but like, I'm like, no, trust me, he's awesome.
Thank you.
So
thank you.
She wants to connect at some point, but it's one of those things, we're all just finding our vibes and our connections in the group,
doing our thing. Yeah.
And it's all gonna sort
out. Get on
a
call together sometime when things settle down.
I'm open to any and all of it, Dan. I appreciate you so much. So I will message you soon, and don't forget to remind me, I really, 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 really want to walk you through my framework system.
Mhm.
And honestly, I can walk you through it as fast as I walked you through, probably even faster than I walked you through the system I made up for myself today.
Mhm.
Um, and then it's just going to be like brainstorm central probably for
Mhm.
the next week or two for you.
Wow.
We won't be on the call the whole time.
Mhm.
But you know, it seriously, it would be my honor. I think that sharing with you what I've created, to be like, hey, here's how I learned it, that allowed me to get to the place where I could make this magic on my own. It's kind of like teaching a kid how to put a marshmallow on a stick
Mhm.
and stick it in the fire. It doesn't mean you won't burn it or need
Mhm.
to do it 100 times yourself before it works for you, but
Right.
it's the
I totally get
like
that.
the least I could do.
Oh, well, thank you. I would be happy to. So
Okay,
you just say when.
awesome. All right. Well, I will talk to
Okay.
you soon. Thank you for today.
Yeah,
Mwah.
enjoy. Love you. Talk
Bye,
soon.
Dan.
Okay,
Love you
bye-bye.
too. Talk soon.
Thanks. Bye.